This episode is sponsored by LitVM, Litecoin's virtual machine. LitVM enables smart contract capabilities and Web3 applications for Litecoin. Designed for builders, LitVM features a modular ZK stack that operates on top of Litecoin and is powered by industry leaders such as Bitcoin OS, Arbitrum, Espresso, Succinct, and Caldera. Together with all the other builders in the ecosystem, LitVM is advancing the Litecoin Meta. Visit litvm.com. When it comes to mining, pools matter. This is why we recommend POWERPOOL. POWERPOOL is a mining pool built by miners to maximize profits. If you're mining from home or have a larger scaled operation, use POWERPOOL for the best payouts. POWERPOOL supports SHA-256, X11, Blake 2S, EagleSong, K-Heavy Hash, and of course our favorite, S-CRYPT for Litecoin, Dogecoin, Bellscoin, and others. Mining with POWERPOOL is easy with its simple user interface, and the platform has all the reporting exports that you're looking for. POWERPOOL typically charges a 1% fee, but if you use the 84 million link in the show notes, you will pay less than 1%, which is excellent. So sign up, point your machines, and start mining with POWERPOOL for lower fees and better payouts. Cheers, happy mining. Hello and welcome to the 84 Million Podcast. I'm here with my friend Bits. Let me offer him an introduction before we dive into the show. Bits is an independent artist and creative who has been with the Litecoin Foundation since 2018. Bits is responsible for creating the MWEB logo and the first art toys for Litecoin, paired with ordinal inscriptions. His latest project is the Litecoin Trading Card Game. Find him on X at Bits Toys. Welcome back to the show. Last time you were here, it was episode number 24. So
yeah,
it's been a minute.
Thanks so much for having me again, Kyle. Appreciate it.
Glad to have you back.
For sure. Yeah, it's exciting with the new trading cards coming up. It's that is a project that's been in the works here for, well, since last July. I kind of came up with it, and then now we're I think 30 some cards deep into it now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Really wild.
That is crazy. I want to give some background in case someone's living under a rock and hasn't seen the last episode or isn't following you on X, and everybody should be following you. I know there was a period where you lost your original account, which is terrible. So people definitely need to follow you on Bits Toys. But like I said, you were on the show before. I know you unveiled the first art toys for Litecoin back at the summit in 2024, and it was the based chicken. In fact, I have some back there if you look closely. And you paired them with Litecoin Ordinals, and at that time, I think Ordinals were like a year old, which you were pretty early, which was cool with that. You also created the Lester in Real Life toy. I know last year you had a really, really big one that auctioned off at the summit in 2025. And of course, I've also got your Lester with the little beanie, and then the Bitcoin kind of companion, which was cool. Bitcoin Light Lester, was that the one?
There was Bitcoin Light Lester and Bitcoin Buford. Yeah.
Okay.
So the orange one was Bitcoin Buford. Bitcoin Light Lester was the blue one, which was basically the.
I have Bitcoin Light Lester.
Okay, cool.
Blue and blue.
Yeah, we did that Bitcoin Light April Fool's joke that one year, and we changed all of our accounts to Bitcoin Light instead of Litecoin. So that was kind of fun. I think it was like 2019, 2020, something like that for April Fool's. So
I love that.
Just an homage to that. Yeah.
I remember that. It was really actually kind of amazing. And I have the shirts, so I still have a record. You can still get that at the foundation, I think.
I think you can. Yeah. They usually keep things pretty available, in case anybody wants it. But yeah, I gotta get one of those, honestly. I don't have one.
And you designed that too.
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, I definitely designed the Bitcoin Light logo. That was something that we just kind of did one day, and it was really last minute. And I think Charlie was just like, "Yo, can we do this real quick?" And I was just like, "Sure, why not? Let's do it." And at the time, I think I was actually managing the at Litecoin handle too. So, yeah, it was pretty wild.
Are you still managing at Litecoin?
No, I'm not anymore. That's not my business.
It's the intern. We found him. Well, we want to talk about the trading cards. I can see a few on display, which is amazing. Are you in your like
Yep.
shop where you make these things like right now?
Yep. So this is exactly where I make them, and I do everything by myself. So it's all done in house, and from the printing, curing and everything. Everything's done literally in this room, and it's been a wild ride trying to figure it all out, and being able to do it all myself kind of enables me to take my design background, having like 20 years in just graphic design and applying it where I can get these cards out in like I could come up with an idea and then get it out in a day, and it's like, that's that. I can literally print the cards, make them all up, sign them, seal them and everything, and program them and stuff, and then they're good to go. So it's kind of really nice to have that ability to just kind of roll with it. So, if something comes out, like I know I did the metal Shatner card, which was only 8, because it wasn't totally like pertaining to Litecoin, but I used to have a metal band, and having a 95-year-old William Shatner coming out with a metal album, it's just like blowing my mind. So I decided to create that card just for that. But
When is this
but
album
it's kind of
coming
cool.
out?
To be honest, I have no idea. I didn't look into it too much. I just saw like a tweet on it, and I was just like, whoa, you have got to be kidding me. That is not something that I ever expected to happen. So but it's definitely pretty awesome. I don't know how that's all gonna go, but I can't really imagine William Shatner screaming at 95 or anything like that. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
It is humorous. It's something to consider. I think he's getting, from what I read about the project, he's like trying to get all these like big names from different metal
Yeah,
acts over the years kind of together to do some like gigantic collab. But we'll find out. What I can say is he's the second real human in your card
that's true.
collection, and we'll talk about the
Yeah,
first human maybe later. Big hint, um, which was actually really amazing. Card holders already know what I'm referring to, but
sure.
so trading cards for Litecoin. When did you wake up and say I'm going to make trading cards for Litecoin?
So it was a combination. So when we were at the summit last year, and a lot of people probably don't know this because I didn't even know it last year, but Charlie is actually on the board for Tag,
I
which
didn't know
is
that.
a card company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Like I didn't know that either until I was starting to look into Tag a little bit, and I saw that he was listed on the board members, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, wow, okay. So yeah. Anyway, Charlie got a deal with Tag going where they came out with some Litecoin cards for the summit itself, and everybody was going crazy over them and stuff, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, we gotta like really like kind of do some more of these or something. And I almost actually contacted Tag to try and do some, but really what it came down to was that like Pokemon was like super super big. Obviously it's been having a resurgence and stuff, and everybody's just going crazy over these cards and stuff. And I'm a huge Pokemon fan, but like I haven't really purchased any since I was a kid, and like so I don't even know the different variations and stuff that are out now and all that. But I do have a binder full of old school like, you know, holographics, and I did pull a Charizard when I was a kid too, which is kind of fun. So like in 1999 I actually opened a fossil pack and like got the Charizard and everything. I still have it, but it's I just thought that, that kind of um that surprise and that like ability to collect something that's not crazy. It doesn't take like a crazy amount of space, what I mean. It's very thin, it's easy to for anybody to buy. There's a lot of constraints with collectibles. If you have something too big, people might not have the shelf space for it, but like something flat, super easy to kind of get across and stuff. And I just love the fact that you can open something up and it's just like exciting, and it gives you that rush of dopamine for a little bit here. And I guess like so I wanted to make something that was kind of a satire product that is something that I'm really into, right? And that's kind of where it stemmed from, was that like I wanted to create something that was kind of unique to Litecoin that could be maybe put into a game, and that's kind of where it all started. And then, yeah, I've just been making them ever since. Yes.
I love them, and we're going to
Yeah.
look at them here in a little bit. But speaking of tag, I have also, we actually did a giveaway the other day, and only one person
Nice.
participated. I'm like, wow, actually you did. A
I
few
saw
people did.
that.
One person went
Yeah.
crazy, and they got a lot of them right. But there are a lot
Mhm.
of things I like to kind of throw in here, and it's kind of fun to me to know what they are, but probably a lot of people don't because you can't see them very well. But there's some
Mhm.
tags here. They're not the, I think they're the garden variety one. I think I bought 4 of them, and they were all the
Nice.
same ones. So I didn't get any of the variants, the blue ones or the orange ones or whatever. But it was fun. And
Yeah.
absolutely there's that dopamine when you're like, oh, I'm gonna pull, whatever. And whether you do or not, it's still nice. Um
Hmm.
but I like those cards. They look nice. They did come in a case. However, I think yours
Yeah.
look just as good. And then there was the other
Thank you.
cards, the Cardsmiths, and I know
Hmm.
they had put them in some of the welcome packs, I think in 2024 and maybe previously. Um,
Yeah.
those are also nice, but like it's a pretty small space in terms of like the crypto trading cards.
Yeah.
So,
It's relatively new for sure.
so how do you see yourself with these two giants next to you?
Yeah. I mean, like, I guess I'm just, I'm a small single person company, where it's just me doing this. Like I am not necessarily trying to compete with Tag or or Cardsmiths necessarily. But I'm just trying to kind of add my own flavor to it and kind of make, almost like designer cards, where there's very low amount of each version produced, so like the max amount that I've created for a set is I think 24. So that's like nothing compared to say like, a Pokemon, a tag, or a Cardsmiths. They're looking at, thousands of cards being printed all the time. And so when you look at that from like a collector standpoint, it is more desirable in my opinion, where you can get where there's only a handful of people that are ever going to be able to collect these. So hopefully, I guess is the card value would increase in the future. I can't guarantee that, nobody can, but with small enough amounts, I think it's possible, and having ordinals attached to them that kind of adds a little bit of feature to it. And then, I want to really try and build it out from here and kind of make it into a game. Maybe we can make it into a few different games, who knows? But, at least we have some character creation right now. And, we have actual physical, collectibles right now. And if we can, push that out into an actual game, that'd be awesome. And we have LitVM right now is creating all the smart contract interface and everything for that to happen basically. So if we do it, it's gonna be on LitVM.
Shout out to LitVM, a show sponsor. They're sponsoring this episode
Oh,
with
nice.
you and I together. So yeah, great
That's
people there
awesome.
at LitVM. Um, I think there's something special about these being very limited.
Yeah.
And I'm going to repeat myself, but I think they look just as good, if not better. Now, I didn't decase them,
Appreciate that.
and I'm
Mhm.
not someone who can go into grading, but I think the general person who's buying cards, unless you're again into grading them and the super specifics, I can't discern any sort of quality difference. Granted, I don't have a lot of them. I just have the tags, they're cased. I'm not going to open them up. And then I had some kind of just sleeved Litecoin, rip-offs or whatever, which they were not
Mhm.
case. They were just standard cards, which by the way, will you ever just do like a pack of cards without any cases, which are just like a simple foil pack or whatever?
That's a good question. So like I may. And the reason why I say I may is because we might be able to get like
Like ordinal
some of
free
them.
too. They don't even have to have
Yeah,
air bills.
if they were just cards, like I'd be fine with that. I guess it's just a matter of, does it make sense, right? Like, does it make sense both like financially? Does it make sense for are other people going to actually want them? And then like you got to figure, I can only
I
produce
think
so
people
many
would.
of them, right? So if I do produce them, it would probably be a little bit more expensive than a normal pack of cards, right? And because there still would probably only be a certain maybe there would be 1,000 of them at most, and that would be a lot for me to get done. There's about 8 per sheet that I can make. So you do the math, it would be pretty intense, but it's doable for sure. Uh, and I guess it's just a matter of time and, energy if it makes sense, so I could definitely do it, but then we'd have to probably figure out a place to make some foil, custom packages and stuff like that too. But yeah, I mean, I think it's possible for sure.
I think so. I think that's where we're going with all of this. I'm speaking
Yeah,
this out into existence. Why don't we
for sure.
look at your cards? I have a
Yeah,
few
let's
here. I'm
do
going
it.
to hold on to them.
Sure.
But I know the first 5 I've got it written down: Up All Night, Doc Blue, Fear and Lester, Here's Lester, and
Yep.
Darko Lester.
Yep.
Now, whether or not you show those is up to you. But those were the first 5, correct?
Yeah, yeah. So I do have Fear and Lester right here. So that was number 3 out of the 5. There were a few of these that I have. So there is actually like 11 cards in the first edition set. Um, and then the rest of them are basically either special editions or, different series or whatever you want to say. So right now though, those are, basically the 11 are the originals, right? Now we've sold out of literally, I think, almost every card. We have only 3 left of your card, and that's it. And then that's gone too. So it's very, very hard to get these. I don't want to stress that enough, but if you do see one and you want one, you're probably going to have to get it, or you're just going to have to wait forever until somebody decides that they're going to, sell one of theirs, and
Did
who
you
knows what the
have
premium
you
is going to
find
be.
any of them secondary on secondary markets yet?
Um,
I've not looked.
I haven't looked in the past like couple of weeks, but I have looked in the past and I haven't seen any for sale. So I think everybody so far that's purchased them
They're
is just
keeping them.
holding them.
Yeah.
And yeah,
And I
and I
hope
mean
they're
they
opening
are
them.
pretty cool. Yeah, I hope so too, but I kind of highly doubt that. I honestly just want to stop sealing them just so that people will actually enjoy them, because that's like one of the biggest things for me. I mean, it's great to have collectibles. It's great to like want to keep them sealed and, keep them in pristine condition, and that's awesome. But you know what? We're only here for so long, and to not enjoy the things that you love, are it's just kind of a shame. So just because it's sealed, and I mean, it's not like the packet, the I guess these are the foil packets unsealed, but it's not like it's rocket science or anything. I mean, these things don't cost a crazy amount to purchase or anything. And yeah, I do sign the back of them usually, and so I guess there is some a little bit of depreciation that could happen there, but whatever. I mean, like I think it's worth opening them up so that you can kind of see them, and like, you'll get something like that, or
Was that a
whatever it
special
might be.
card? Night
So
of the
this
84
was the
million?
first, yeah, so this was the first special card we did. So this was a Halloween card. And it was the first one that was outside of the original 11. And so technically there were 12, but the one card never really got shown until like Animal actually just dropped it the other day because I gave him one as a misprint. But yeah, this one was the original first special edition card, and it was, designed for Halloween, and it's got that hollow effect from like the 90s that everybody loves. And so that was the first one, yeah. And then we went on to do a bunch of other ones. This one was Hodel Kitty.
I
That
love
was
that
like
one.
the yeah, that was the uh what was that, number 8 out of 11 of the originals. And then we started getting into Pepe's. So we did an OG Pepe, um and then we did a bunch of others. Probably my favorite would be this guy, which was the glow in the dark version. Actually, I'm just gonna do this real quick.
By the way, as he walks away, we can see his Litecoin
Oh,
trading card T-shirt. You
yeah,
can get those at
that's right.
84 million. we
We did
we
partner for
released
that.
those in fall of last year, and they're still available. They're
Yeah.
super cool, and I love that tee.
Yeah, for sure. No, it was great. So I'm going to turn off the lights here, and you can see that this card is special because it glows in the dark. So you can turn out the lights. Let me turn this guy. And then you
And
just
like it, so that's wild. Like that's like
yeah.
still super like clean.
Yeah. No, it's really beautiful. And I don't know, I love it. It's I like the glow in the dark effects and stuff. Um, that one was pretty cool. I love to do a bunch of different things like that might be a little bit out of the ordinary for any cards that are created. So this one actually was an anaglyph. I think that's how you pronounce it.
It is an
But
anaglyph.
anyway,
You released two anaglyphs, right?
there's actually technically four cards.
Oh, there's four
So,
anaglyphs. Okay.
and I should say I did just release a vault basically. So if you go onto arttoy.org and you scroll down past like the first few cards, you can click on the vault and you can see every single card ever created. And then yeah, so there was a VIP version of so there's Proof of Love, which was the Lester Litecoin version. There was Proof of Love VIP version, which only of 8 of those were made. And then we had, and that was on a hollow foil background, so it's a little bit different. It's got the heart still, but it's it's kind of got that hollow effect that the Night of the 84 Million had. And then there was this one, which is kind of super exclusive to VIP only. It was called Proof of Death, and that one was just a VIP card, and those that was like 8 of them made. And that has kind of like a Lester skeleton on there, which I designed.
And if you wear
That
the
was pretty
goggles,
cool.
because you send these with goggles,
Yeah,
so you can
yeah.
actually
So
enjoy
there's
the anaglyph.
yeah. So there's like 3D
It's old school
glasses,
3D as
basically.
anaglyph, right?
Yeah,
Basically.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, so you just put the 3D goggles on like you had like when you were a kid, and you can kind of see it like coming out at you and stuff. And I just thought that was kind of fun.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, we made that. Yeah, yeah. And then we had the Pepe version too, which is also an anaglyph. But yeah, there's a lot of man. I can't believe the Pepe community, which is also a you know a merge mine coin with Litecoin, and those guys are awesome. I mean, Zordiak I think is the founder of it, and I've been talking to him every once in a while on Discord, and he's an awesome dude. He's super down to earth, super chill, and I like that about people that are should be would not be chill. You know what I mean? Like they have the authority to kind of be like a little bit uppity, but whatever. If they're chill, they're cool in my book. So but yeah, their whole community has just been going crazy for the cards. I mean, I've had guys, buy out like 5 of them at a time too, and it's just insane.
And
So
you don't institute limits yet.
not yet. If it starts getting a little crazy, like one person's like trying to buy out the entire set, that
Yeah.
yeah, it's obviously gonna have to happen. But if they want to buy a few of them, and speculate or whatever they want to do,
Mhm.
that's fine. No big deal. That they're just gonna kind of reap the rewards afterwards.
So currently it's the Wild West with the Litecoin trading card game, but it may not
Yeah.
always be.
Well, I mean, honestly, so once this kind of gets out there a little bit more, I'm doing everything was organic with this. So once it actually starts getting out there, I'm not paying for advertising. I'm not doing anything. So if you know me, then you're in the know, kind of. And if you don't, then you really have to either find it from a friend or something else. There's no way of really getting to this otherwise. We have been selling them on litecoin.com, which does help, obviously. So the shop at litecoin.com, they've been awesome and, doing great things over there. So, they get people to see it, and they obviously have a lot more people following them than that follow me. So,
For sure.
by a magnitude of like a million. But yeah, it's interesting, and I think that eventually, we're gonna get to a point where a card's gonna drop, and since there's only 20 some odd, it's gonna be very difficult to actually get them because you're probably gonna only have to be either in the VIP group, which we did start this past year, after Margaret passed away, which is kind of, a pretty big deal for me. That was my pet pig. And oops, sorry. If you can you still hear me?
I can.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, so that was the Margaret card. I think I have one right here. So this is kind of what it looks like. So we had this card, which was the Heart Hollow card. We had a very exclusive one, which I didn't even think was gonna sell. And this is
That one's amazing.
gold. Yeah, this is the gold version, the God mode card, I
Tell
called
us
it.
how much you sold those for.
So this was $1,000 card.
That's
So
wild.
I put it up for $1,000. I literally did not think that anybody was going to buy it. I thought maybe, Luxfolio or somebody might want to have one and then, they would support it or something like that. But it was just regular collectors. And, you know, so three of the VIPs got that card, which enables them to also create a card for themselves. We haven't really gone through that whole process yet. I did remind everybody at the beginning of the year, hey, we're gonna have to start working on your cards and stuff. But we're still in the process of doing that. So we will have probably three different community cards basically that are coming out soon. And I would say so that's the other thing is a lot of people ask me about making different cards and stuff like that. And realistically, like not totally. So I'm doing this for everybody, but I'm also doing this for myself, right? And so I want to keep it so that I believe in this, and I think that that's very important. So
It is.
if you have somebody that's part of a company, and you know how it is. Like you'll go to a movie, and this is this is actually a perfect quote from basically Rick Rubin. He had this whole section. I don't know. Can we play that clip at all, or is it
I can put in
possible?
the show notes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so put it in the show notes. But anyway, basically, what he says is he's a huge music producer. He's worked with System of a Down, Jay-Z, a bunch of different guys from back in our childhood and stuff. And the one thing that he always says is that you have to create the art for yourself first and the audience last.
Hmm.
So if I'm creating something, I really want to be able to feel that I'm doing it for the right reasons, right? And so I don't really just want to create cards just to create cards, I want it to actually have a meaning and purpose for me, and then also be able to share that with everybody else, right? And so um it's important that I can really get behind it and really get into the design, because that's when you create the designs. If you're not feeling it, or if it's taking an insane amount of time, sometimes it's just you have to switch gears and do something else. And I never wanted to get to a point where it's just boring or I'm being told exactly what I need to be
Yeah.
doing and stuff like that. I want it to be very authentic and from the heart. So that's really kind of where I'm my stance is on the cards. I'm trying to create stuff um basically for me. I want to be able to collect these just like you guys do. And so I keep a copy of every single card, and then I try and sell the rest, and people like them, they like them. If they don't, they don't. That's fine. I don't really care. I'm cool with, you know, whatever people think about them. They can say they suck like crazy, but I still love them. So I'm okay with it.
I don't think anybody said that yet.
No, nobody said that, but I'm just saying, it's just I it's just how I get through the there's definitely been a fear of failure, that I've always had, since I was like a kid, and maybe some senses of maybe this is I don't know why anybody would buy something from me, versus anybody else, but
It's
it's
the imposter syndrome, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
that's the word that I was looking for.
Yeah.
Yes. But then, I've worked with so many different
Which is
people, and
absurd, right? Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, I mean, it is. It's
It's
stupid
very
to think that
human, but I'm
way.
saying
Yeah.
it's not based, but it's very human.
No.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
many identify with this. Yes.
It is. Yeah. But I, after working with people that have been in Silicon Valley and everywhere else, around the world, I worked with companies in Hong Kong and all these different places from all different walks of life. And I've realized that everybody's the same. and like, I mean, you might have somebody that's like a little bit smarter, but most of the time people just get lucky, but everybody's for the most part very similar. And it's just like really hard um for me to just be like, well, I'm not as good as them or anything like anymore. Like I don't care anymore. Like I'm just like, you know what? You guys got lucky. You did a great job. I'm not, discounting anybody, for making $100 million or having a huge company or whatever. That's cool, whatever. That's if that's what you want to do, that's cool. But like, I don't know, my personal priorities right now are just like, enjoying life. We're only here for so long. I'm not chasing the money anymore. I'm just like kind of doing it to do it and have fun, and get the freedom and, do whatever the heck you want, with your life. I think that's important. And I think a lot of people get caught up in crypto for the wrong reasons. And they're like, well, but this coin is going to go like to, 100,000x of whatever I bought it for. And, that's awesome. And if you really want a Lambo and you really want all that life and all that, more power to you. That's cool, but I've noticed that like you can get money and then like it won't really change too much about your life or your lifestyle, Um it's not like the end all, right? You might get a cool car, but like what I've found is like that's more important. And like even just from growing up, like my dad, like he started it, well, he was part of a company that made it pretty big, right? And they were a local company here, and I actually worked for them for a little while, but it was, so he made a decent amount like back in the day, for the 90s and stuff. He was making like quite a decent salary. And then so we had some money, back in the day, and then like he got fired from that job. He started his own gig, and but he lost like a lot of money, and then like we ended up like pretty much broke, and so like I had to like kind of build back up, from the ground up. And so from when I was like 18 or so, I tried to get a house, so that I could like, put my parents into it and, like have like another house again and stuff. But like it ended up not working out because like I got laid off and all this crazy stuff. But like we've been kind of like just working through it. It is what it is. So I don't come from like I've been all over the spectrum, right? And so I've had poor friends, I've had, rich friends, I've had everything in between. And what I've noticed though is that in poor families, they could be completely destitute, but they care so much more than a lot of the richer families that I've had friends with and stuff. Like every single time they would be like, okay, you don't have anything to do for Christmas or like whatever, because like my parents split up and stuff. And like so they would always invite me over, and like they were, they didn't really have much, to offer, but like, they would just be like, come over, have dinner with our family and stuff, I mean, like that's awesome, So I mean, there's a lot to say about, just all different types of people and stuff. But I just wanted to, kind of like reiterate that, family, friends, that's like those are pretty big in life. And I think that that's something that a lot of people underestimate, because like when you get $1 million or however many millions of dollars you want, and and then you've like completely like shoved everybody else out of your life. And, you were just so focused on doing that. And now you're at this echelon where like everybody else doesn't really like, vibe with you the same or something like that. Now it's just like, it's different, and you're not going to find the same kind of satisfaction that you would in life from that kind of stance than I would say, if you were just, keeping up with your relationships and stuff like that. So that's just my 2 cents. But
Because there's a lot there. There's a lot there.
there
Well,
is,
thank you
yes.
for sharing that. And
Sure, man.
I can't hit on all of that, but
I know,
I identify with what you're
it's a lot
saying. And
for sure.
I think just you seeking genuine art that you're happy with, that you
Yep.
want, is the
Hmm.
driver. And I think that's true. And I
Very
think
true.
that is a high motivation and maybe one of the best varieties, maybe the best, because it'll keep you going despite
Yeah,
despite everything, despite if no one wants
exactly.
them, right? Which is
Exactly.
clearly not the
Right.
case. Clearly not the
No,
case.
yeah. I mean, it's
But
been crazy. Like so many people have been hitting me up about the cards, and like, even if they've tried to, if they've missed things and all that, like, and sometimes I'll have extras where I'll just be like, okay, dude, you can get a pass this time. Just pay attention next time.
yeah. Yeah. Even in a
But
bear market, even in a bear.
yep, that's
so,
true. It's
so
it's
this
been a
is
little
good.
bit difficult to sell in a bear, but like at the same point, it's been very well received. I mean, we sold out of that Pepe card that I showed you in about an hour and a half, I think it
Yeah.
was. So it's been nuts. Yeah. I
That's
can't
crazy.
complain.
So maybe we can go back to the VIP. And I held up, I don't
Sure.
know if you saw it. I held up my version of the Margaret. I did not open this
Yep.
yet. And was this the entry into VIP? I can't remember how that even
So
happened. So let me just make a
yeah.
disclaimer too. Can I? Bits is a friend. I buy these. I've been I have not bought every one of your cards. But I bought
No,
a
I know.
few of them and
Yeah.
some have. But anyway, I'm just supporting you, but these questions are genuine. I didn't, I write things out and we generally talk about how we might do the show, but I don't know the answers that he may share with me. So, and I don't know what's in some of these packs, and I too have not opened all of them. So, this is as exciting for me as anybody. So,
Yeah.
similar to what you said, I do this show for me so I can learn something,
Cool.
so I can have something, that I can hold up. But, with that being said, I cannot. So I'm a VIP member. That's why I wanted to say
Yep.
all that. I am in the VIP, but I don't remember how that actually I got into that, or how does one enter the VIP group? Is it a certain card on a certain series and you release it every now and again, and there's like, oh,
Yes.
VIP's open again, or something like this? I don't
So
know.
yeah, so VIP came about when so it's based off of two things. One, there is a so I got into designer toys a while ago, and there is an exclusive club for this specific toy that I really like and by the specific artist. And I ended up creating an entire back end for them so that they could have a club, you know. And I really love the way it works because like it's you can release things to this group of people that normal people can't touch, right? And so that feels special. It's almost like sharing something, with your friends or something. And so I like that exclusivity about it. And then I was like, well, there are people here that are going to want like every single card. Like, I've had people just order, a ton of cards, and it'll be like one person will order like 30 some odd cards. And I'm just like, whoa, what just happened? Like it's just wild. And so there are members that do have every single card. Probably like it's not a lot. It's probably like four people I think have every single card. And then a lot of the other people have most of the cards, but like not all. They'll always miss like one or two, and I don't blame them. I mean, like it's not like it's if you don't have the extra money to be spending on cards, then you're not going to do it, right? But I think it's kind of cool to have like all the cards too, it's it's very interesting to be able to say like, hey, I collected every single one of them. And so the VIP basically enables you to do that, whether or not you're up on it or whatever. But like, so what I'm doing is I released the VIP when Margaret passed away, and basically anybody who bought a Margaret card got entered into the VIP. And so there were three tier. Well, so technically there were four tiers. The one card was an open-ended card, so there was no like limit on them.
And you
I
still have
didn't.
that uncased Margaret available at the shop, I think, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I think I do. It. Well, I don't know. I might have taken it down. I'm not sure 100%. But and it's funny because like I've noticed that like other people will be able to tell me more about my cards and more about like times, dates, things that have happened with them than I even remember. And it's just funny, but like because that's kind of how it works. Because like they're really invested into like getting it, on the drop date, I'm getting it 100%, this is, and then there were this many cards and whatever. And like, I have to like go back and look at them and be like, okay, wait, how many cards did I put in that one? I can't remember, and then so I have to like look at the card and it'll say it on there. But anyway, so yeah, there were three or four tiers for the VIP. the God mode tier, which was $1,000. There was a VIP card, which was technically the entry to the VIP, which was 250, which you did not get, but you got the other Margaret card. And I ended up letting everybody who got the Heart Hollow Margaret card into the VIP as well. So like, cause I just appreciate it. I mean, it was really nice of everybody to, be able to support me during that time. I mean, it was super, super hard. I mean, it's still kind of hard today, but
But Margaret was the
um
gateway.
Margaret was the gateway. Yeah.
Is that the
And
only gateway?
that was the only gateway. And then we closed it. And the only time it's going to open again is on her birthday, which was, it's February, no, I'm sorry, not February, April 16th. So April 16th this year, we'll open VIP again. So we'll have another set of cards that will be able to be purchased. And then you can get into VIP that way. And what VIP gets you is basically you'll have, usually it's around like 2 days ahead of time to be able to grab the next drop. So and then you normally get like a specific card number, so you can kind of keep your numbers consistent. So like you could have all of number, whatever, 10 or 11 or whatever it is. So I have a bunch of people in the VIP group that have a specific number that they always get, so it just enables you to get, you know, cards early. It'll enable you to get like exclusive cards like the VIP Proof of Love or the Proof of Death card, or there's been a bunch of them that have just been released specifically just for VIP members, and that's it. So that's another benefit. And then obviously, you don't have to like be sitting by your computer at a specific time, make a bot to, bot the drop or anything like that. So, but I think eventually, it's going to come to the point where either you're part of VIP or you're botting, the experience, and then you're going to be able to get a card that way. But eventually you're not going to be able to get a card, when it drops. It'll probably just instantly sell out, and that's it. So that's my only thing is like, once we get to that point, then we might have to like kind of stagger the drops or something like that too, so that there's not I do want more people to be able to get them. I don't want to I don't want to go crazy and like, restrict it with so many rules and stuff, but I just want it to be fair, and I want it to be um, you know, so that, a bunch of people can get them, so that's cool, and we've been having people order them from all around the world, and it's just been crazy. Like some guy in Dubai ordered them, Australia, Switzerland, Germany, uh, England, you name it. Like everybody's been getting them from pretty much everywhere. I think Warren's the only one that has one in Mexico right now. But yeah, Canada, pretty much everywhere. I did a drop this week, or this past week. I was in Montreal. I ended up meeting up with Animal, and he's been a long time Litecoiner. He's been, volunteering at the summits and everything. And I
It
ended up
was
hooking
also
up
on the
with a bunch of
show. We will link it in the show
yes.
notes.
Oh, nice. Yeah, and definitely watch it. I mean, he's just a brilliant guy, and we ended up talking for a while that night, and then I ended up hiding a bunch of cards. They were the misprint cards in basically like the Eaton Center in Montreal and like the Underground City area. And I had a bunch of posts about it. Now, I don't know if anybody actually got them or if security just picked them up, because at one point I realized that there were like 3 security guards like behind me, and I'm like, that's weird. And I was like on the 4th floor, so like there was literally nothing up there. And I'm just like, so they're just following me and picking up what I'm dropping off, aren't they? So I'm not 100% if anybody got the misprints or not, but anyway, if you do live in Montreal and you want to take a chance and look for it, there's a few spots that I dropped them in the Eaton Center area of Montreal.
Were you at a conference?
Uh, I was not. No, it was just like a random spur of the moment type trip up there.
Okay.
So,
Well, I looked at the one tweet and I followed it kind of through, and there
yeah.
was an actual like handle on it, like an X handle, and then I clicked through,
Mhm.
it said it was suspended. So I have no idea what happened.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Huh.
this account was
Interesting.
suspended. So it was interesting to me. I'm like, what is Bits doing up there?
Yeah, I don't know.
Uh,
It was
but they let you
interesting.
back in the country and they let you out of the building. So I
They
guess you
did,
could go
yes, that's
investigate and
true.
reclaim them at some point, should you
Eh,
desire. to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with just leaving them up there. It's cool if somebody wants to grab them at some point, and if they are still in fact up there, I don't know for a fact. Again, security might have just taken them all, and they're all gone forever. But it's all
E-
good.
Easter eggs in Canada. Well, I want to look at your cards again. I'm not going to open this
Yeah.
up, and I will identify with the hesitancy to open these. Now, many of them, they're all over here. You don't see them. At some point, I'll display them, put it up in an air shelf or something, because I do believe they're very displayable, and they should be displayed. And by the way, thanks for putting those cases on your site, because I grabbed a bunch of them.
Yeah, no problem.
But I got a few here. So I don't know what this card is. And we've
Yeah.
seen a few people kind of do these unboxings. So I think I might as well do it.
Yeah, go
Now,
for it.
every other time I use scissors or a razor blade, so I'm just going to be old school and just tear it at the perf.
You might want a knife or something. They're really, really hard to tear at the perforation just
I'm gonna
because they're
try.
so tight. They're so tight in there. You can go for it.
I'm going to do my best, and hopefully I don't botch it.
A pain trying to get them out of there before.
Because they have the case, so
Yeah. So they're very, very tight.
I started it, all right?
Oh, nice. Good job.
So we're going to go through. This is probably going to be destroyed by the time I'm done with it, but I think so far
Yeah, you're doing good.
we're doing it. I don't know what's in this. So something that Bits typically does is he labels what's inside. So this is a blind.
Yep.
I have no idea.
Yeah, this was part of the official 11 that we originally came out with, I think. Because that would be the only time that you could actually buy a blind card.
There was one card I wanted to show quite a while ago, and it was embargoed. Did you ever release that?
Oh. No, I didn't
image?
actually. So that was.
I think it's still blacked out on your website too.
Yeah, it was.
This is
it still is. That's the 12th card. And again, it has been technically released, but I've purposely kept it not officially, released. There you go.
Ooh.
Oh, nice. You got a Luster Busters. All right.
Yeah, I haven't seen this. This is not a dupe.
No. That
Let's
one's
see. He's got his
the number 10 out of 11. Can't remember which one that was.
10 out of 11. 10 out of 11. Yep.
Cool.
And Liquidity Trap. It says Lester Busters, HP 519. Lester ensnares fiat spirits in a flow of sound money. Opponent can retreat for 2 turns. So I have to ask about that. The actual game, is this playable?
So it will be. It's going to be represented in an ordinal form, and that will be attached to the wallet there. And then they also have an NFC chip in them. And so the NFC chip is going to do multiple things. It can take you to your ordinal. So you can actually see the ordinal in your wallet and stuff pretty quickly just by, tapping it to your phone. And then I was actually going to use them for community engagement too. So like I have a list of every single NFC chip that is in every single wallet, right? And I can basically go into my terminal and recode it to whatever I really want, right? So it's dynamic. And if we wanted to, we could actually come up with a kind of a drawing or whatever you want to say. So if you have a card, we can set every single card to either lose or win, right? And at random. And then whoever scans their cards, if you scan your card, then you can either win or lose, and kind of get a message on your phone of, to claim the prize and stuff. So that was one of the engagement things that I really do want to implement as well. And it's all really set up right now. It's just a matter of having the time to create a card and then, push it out. And then I think we're going to have a free way of joining the drawing, because otherwise it's considered, I think, gambling or something like that. So got to double check, like with legal, which I don't have, but like ChatGPT or something like that, figure out exactly what's going on on that front, and then just go for it. So
So
it'll be
again, just
interesting.
looking at the anatomy of the card, we
Yeah.
have a case. We actually have it double wrapped because this is your foil,
Yep.
right? But it's
Yep.
actually in another wrapping. And then we've got the actual card, beautiful hard case, nice
Mhm.
color. This is like a glitter card with Jerome Powell,
Yep.
or
You got it.
a cartoon in the likeness of Jerome
True.
Powell.
Yeah, not exactly, but
um, and then the
it's
back,
kind of
I
cool.
love the back. It's so simple. Of
Mhm.
course, it's pretty nostalgic
Yep.
to anybody that knows anything about Pokemon. But yeah,
Mhm.
you got a wallet and a private key. So like, what? And that's where the ordinal will be stored, correct?
Correct. Yep.
But the
Exactly.
NFC is different. That's the one where you just put your smartphone over it to like highlights and links, and that'll
Yep.
eventually be live. I think it's a space holder right now.
Yeah. So right now, every single wallet basically goes to the same image.
It's a cool
And we
image.
already, yeah,
It
yeah,
works.
it does, and
Yeah.
it is an actual ordinal on the blockchain. It's just not specifically in everybody's wallet. Um, in and then all the ordinals that are going to be created are going to be recursive as well. So that's going to keep the bloat down, in terms of the blockchain, and then everything is going to be based on um SVG images. So that is also very, low cost in terms of weight and stuff and, size. Um, so it's gonna be nice because we're gonna have an ordinal that you'll be able to like actually move with your finger, when you see it. So it'll be uh JavaScript basically and like engaging and stuff, and then it'll actually have your card image on there too. And that'll unlock in the game as well. So then you can register you'll be able to take your NFC chip. I think that basically what's gonna end up happening is, and don't quote me on this because it's not official, but the way that I see it is that we'll have like basically a profile page, and you'll have to probably set a password for that or something. And then that profile page, you'll be able to register all your cards on it. And then that will enable them to be used in the game and stuff. And then there'll be like certain perks for the game, of every card that you register. So it might unlock a character. It might unlock, if we end up making it like pay to play, then you would get so many credits for a card or whatever it might be. I'm not 100% sure exactly what we're going to do in terms of the release specifics, but once we make the games, then these will be able to be played in the games.
So you're
So that's
talking about
the benefit.
games, plural. So
Plural,
what are these
yes.
games? And pardon
So
me if you just explain it. What are they going
yep.
to be like? The different games, is like battling,
So
PvP.
ultimately, yeah, I did my thought, and this is just from a standpoint of how can we make this realistic to kind of self-sustain. And initially I was thinking that we could create like say a PvP battler and have other people like go up against each other, for prizes and stuff in like a leaderboard skills based leaderboard checklist type thing. And so if you played against so many people and you won, so many times, then you could actually advance and get cool rewards and stuff. Ideally, I think that it would be kind of a pay to play thing, but it would only be um it'd be very like minimal. So it'd be like a 25 cent, Litecoin credit, kind of like you're at an arcade, right?
Yeah.
So you put in your 25 cent payment of Litecoin, and then you could start playing, and PvP battle. And then like if you bought one of the cards that was like first edition, or one of these, basically any of the cards, you get so many free plays before you actually have to start paying or whatever. Because I mean they're not exactly cheap, so why not have some sort of benefit to that too. But yeah, that's kind of
So
like
will
the
this
idea.
character be playable?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So then now this is the big question, and you haven't even heard this yet, but we could potentially game too. Oh, and that's totally up to you.
so
But I would
so
need
let's
to I would need to probably get some like some sort of like we can use your likeness or something in the game and we'd figure it out. But
so
but
so
it's that's totally up to you too. And we could also configure it so that it's something else. But
So let's look at that
um,
card. Can we look at that card?
sure. Yeah, for sure.
So I've got the 84 million podcast. So this is, I am grateful.
Yeah.
You gave me one of 19, and I think typically you take ones. So I'm honored.
So yeah, I keep basically every single number one card. And since this card had your likeness on it, you are the first person to get a number one card, period.
Amazing.
And so I kept number 6. And yeah, you got it.
So if I were, so I should have worn the hat, right?
Yeah,
Which
well,
we
it's
have,
okay. I mean, yeah.
but but so my power would be LTC broadcast burst,
So we could change that too if
and I
we
could
really
just like
wanted to, but
Hadouken some broadcast burst out.
exactly. Yeah, but I mean, we can do basically whatever. I mean, because I do know how to do animation. That was one of
Absolutely.
the things that I've done
Don't
in the
change it. It's got to
past.
be
And
a broadcast burst. Which, by the way, when I
yeah,
got this card, it was amazing. Just the way you like set it up, and like you
yeah.
put a little coffee in the corner, or the coffee guy in the back.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, effect. I'll just read it.
And
Effect.
so,
Effect.
go ahead.
All of you. So if anybody got these cards, the details are where you love it. I mean, the overall art is
Yeah.
nice, right? But like when you look at the little details, they're kind of amazing. The things that you tuck away, like little
Hmm.
icons, they're just loaded, right?
Yep. Yep.
So, effect, Kyle unleashes a high energy transmission from his mic that boosts all allies' clarity and strength. Well, I hope so. I got to live up to that for the Litecoin community.
But yeah, I think that's pretty good. And then we got like the little coffee logo in the upper corner, and in homage to the Litecoin coffee that you create.
And he's back
Oh
there
yeah,
too. That
right
was the
there.
big art toy that you made,
Yep.
but then Big
Yep.
Lester beat him. But
Yep. That's
beautiful
true.
piece, awesome piece, and I think you have one
Yeah.
available
I do
on your
actually. I still have
website.
one available, and that was one of the hardest toys that I've ever had to make. But it was totally worth it, and it was just a lot of detail, a lot of different colored parts and stuff too. But definitely a big lot of love went into that. Let's put it that way. For sure.
And we thank you for it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
these cards are amazing. Do whatever you need to do with the game. That's crazy.
Sure.
I kind of
Yeah.
can't know about it. So, but that would be. It reminds me of emo game. In our generation, we had emo game. Now it's probably not going to look like whatever you're building. I mean, maybe it is because vintage is like a thing, right? Stardew Valley or whatever.
Sure.
That's old, but like reverting to the pixelized era.
Yeah.
But that was kind of a fun one where you play these characters and it's kind of goofy but fun. And so
Mhm.
I don't know if anybody here remembers emo game. Did you ever play emo game?
I don't think so.
You could
No.
probably find it on the Wayback Machine, and knowing what you listen to in terms of music, you would love it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it
Nice.
was all characters. Like you could be members. You could be Brett Tatar, the Juliana Theory, Chris Carrabba from Dashboard, and he had supercharged ovaries as his power because it was just hilarious. Mandy Moore
That's
was in it
awesome.
as like a cameo. Kurt Cobain's wife was like Jabba the Hutt. It was just a wild game. And yeah, emo
That's
game
awesome.
and emo game 2.0 was a super crazy early 2000s game that was only
I'm gonna have to
online.
look it up.
But it's probably still living on the Wayback Machine somewhere. But that was kind of a
That's
legendary
sick.
game of its time. So
Nice. Yeah, I'll
I'm
definitely have
looking
to check
forward
that
to
out
see
now.
whatever you're coming up with, and you're building this
Mhm.
on top of LitVM.
Yeah, it's going to be built on LitVM. And
Wow.
and again, this is we're really early on right now. I mean, I am at the beginning strategy stages of the entire thing, so it's not going to come out tomorrow, right? But I do like to work quickly. So once I start, you know, the tires going, it's just gonna come out fairly quick. I did do there was an app that I made. It was called Devour, and it was basically made for uh, to find um, places that you want to go to eat, and then help chefs like kind of recommend places to their friends and stuff. Because my one buddy's a chef, and he really liked doing that. Everybody asked him for recommendations on where to go to eat, in certain cities and stuff when people are traveling. So, but we made that, and I got so into it. Like, I'm super big into like CSS and like designing things, for the web and stuff. So, when I really get into something, I kind of make it like perfect almost in a way. And, well, to my, appearance, I guess, or however I think is perfect. So it's, I'll put a lot of work into it and really kind of go all out, so I'll do like a night where I'll just stay up until like 5 a.m. and just like nail out things, because it's just so easy to work at night and like really just get everything perfect. And but yeah, so once we start into it, it'll be interesting. And but yeah, anyway, there's gonna be also be obviously a trading card game that's gonna be coming out too. That would be the other card game, right? So the other game that we're gonna be producing. But I just like really love the fact of being able to like unlock characters with the cards. I think that that's just sweet, because it's just like, like I can take this, this one card, and then now I have a new playable character in the game, and like that just means a lot to me in general as a, I don't know, a 90s kid or whatever. So
Absolutely. So
but
I have to ask about
yeah.
that. Is you create for you, but what is the
Yeah.
inspiration? Is it nostalgia plays? Is it, how
Yeah,
do you go
it's
about designing the things that you design? Totally random, or what's going
sometimes
on?
sometimes it is totally random. Sometimes it's just, like it'll be a meme or something like that, or like something I see, online, or like there was this Jumble Farts card where this guy was like, "Oh, well, Litecoin's gonna crash to negative $100 or something," and I'm just like, "That's ridiculous," So I created a card, and I have a loose one here. Um, but this I created this card, and it was, so I had this thing when I was in high school, just like randomly saying things, right? And like it wouldn't make sense at all, right? So I would just kind of like come up with words in my head and just kind of stitch them together, and however they went. And then so I kind of did that when I was creating this. I was like, I'm gonna throw this into Chat GPT and see what it set, or what it makes, right? And it was I think it was something like, there were elves with like 9 irons, and they were holding somebody hostage, and there was a unicorn and a rubber chicken and all this shit, and then this gnome with like these jumble farts or something like that. And I was like, that would be the only way that Litecoin would go to like a negative number, where you're not only getting the Litecoin, but somebody's paying you to take it, and so it was just such a ridiculous thing, right? And that's kind of where it came from. But yeah, there's a lot of just random things that I'll do, and then I'll just start creating it from there. Like the proof of love card was obviously a play on Valentine's Day. I don't really like to do like holidays all that often, but I think that it is kind of important, to recognize some of them, I guess, and just because they're fun, here and there. I think Valentine's Day is kind of like a Hallmark holiday, or just to get people to spend money, which is stupid. But at the same point, I mean, love is a beautiful thing, right? And so people like love, and man, I have a real hard problem with being slightly biased towards like negativity sometimes. So I'm trying to get better at that. And so the proof of love card was kind of like a birth out of that, right? And trying to like be more positive, and kind of keep things light when, we're in the middle of a bear market. you know?
Mhm.
So kind of get some smiles on some people's faces, instead of just thinking about the craziness that's happening in the world.
Oh, how we need it. Yes, keep that
Yes,
up. Keep that up.
for sure. For sure.
It's interesting to ask. I think I love the cards. And how many
Yeah.
times have I said that? And I'm an owner of many of them. We've had several different shipments come in here. And like I said, I want to put
Yeah.
them up. But really cool cards. The game's super exciting. But even without the
Yeah.
games, like these things are where it started. This is a standalone.
Yeah.
This is
Yep.
cold storage too, right?
Yep.
Physical,
It is.
physical, tangible, right? In your
Yep.
hand, in your possession. All the stuff we like
Yeah.
about Litecoin applies. Well, not all, but some of the things are consistent with the physical card.
Yeah, for sure. And I've been trying to keep it fairly I don't know, unique, and keep it positive, and really just make things that hopefully people will like and people want to collect, and that's the biggest thing that I really love about these things is that, like, I mean, collecting is obviously something that people have been doing forever, right? And there are crypto collectibles, but like I don't think a lot of them are really all that cool until you start getting into like the cards, and like some of the art is like really cool, but like a lot of it is just like super expensive, or it's like, I mean, you got to have thousands of dollars to buy stuff, and like, sometimes it's sculptures, it's, ordinals or whatever it might be. And I'm kind of like bridging that gap of like having something that's like relatively inexpensive to the point where pretty much anybody could buy it, right? And if we do produce like card packs, I think it becomes even more accessible. But I mean, the cards themselves, I mean, they are usually around $65 per card, but I do put a lot of love into them. I mean, I'm literally doing everything to them. Uh, you know, putting them, or kind of creating the designs, putting them into or printing them, putting them into the slabs, creating the wallets. The themselves are a process and a half, just because you have to have both. Well, it's a lot of, just let's put it this way, it's a lot of work. And I mean, you have the wallet QR code, you have the each individual private key on the back, and then you also have like the little scratch off thing on the back that you have to put onto them, and then cutting each individual one up. I mean, it is just it's a lot to do. Let's put it that way.
And the infrastructure that produces them, right?
Yep,
So you had
it's
to
true
buy
too.
capital goods to actually even make these.
Yep, exactly. And it was a struggle, honestly, at the beginning, because it was just like, I'm not loaded right now. I mean, I don't have a job, so my cash flow is like super, super limited, right? And so it's like when I do have some cash coming in, what I'm doing now is I'm just like buying, excess what do you want to call it? Supplies, basically, so that I'm not, in a position where I'm just like, oh, well, I need to create another card so that I can get more money so that I can buy the stuff to make it, or something like that, because that was a little bit of what happened at the beginning. I did need to get, a bunch of different supplies. I mean, the slabs themselves are kind of expensive, and when you're producing, say, 500 cards at once, that's a lot of material, and just to get it started and stuff. So we did have a little bit of a pre-order when it was beginning, and a lot of people were like super stoked about that, and they got a lot of cards for super cheap too. So we did do a half price pre-sale at the very, very beginning for like a
Remember,
week, I think it was. And so every card was like $25, and then they were $50 to begin with. And then it started to get into the point like where, if I'm selling them through the foundation shop, then they want like a certain percentage, of the sale. So then it was just like, well, now I'm not making enough to like really kind of keep going with this. So now I had to raise the prices a little bit to kind of cover that too. But the good thing is that the foundation's getting money too, coming through the shop, and so they're getting sales from this too. So it kind of supports the foundation as well, which is nice.
which is
Uh,
nice. Yeah.
yeah.
Agreed.
So we
Agreed.
can we could still do summits in Amsterdam and all that, which is also going to be absolutely amazing this year. I'm stoked to kind of announce that I am definitely going to be at that summit, so I'll have some cards for sale over there too.
And maybe some special cards.
Yes, very much so. So there's going to be probably a summit card, and then there's going to be probably like a couple tiers of that. So there'll be kind of a super special summit card, which will be a little bit more limited, most likely like around 8 of them. And then there'll be like probably one that I'll do for like 24 total. And more than likely, it'll only be either a VIP or you have to go to the summit to get it. So
Mm-hmm.
still kind of making that available for VIPs, just
That's
because,
amazing. Yeah.
sometimes they can't make it to Europe to
Mm-hmm.
to go and stuff. So
Well, we're rooting to at least bring the Proof of Work Summit back, and then bring that stateside. We can go and participate. I'm up in the air for it right now. It's not looking good, But hey,
Yeah.
maybe something changes and we'll be surprised.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I hope you can make it because it's always fun to be there with you. I know we were at the what was it, the Tennessee one, and we had a booth right next to each other, so that was kind of cool,
It was
being able
cool.
to sell things.
That's when we
And
met in real life at the
yep,
Litecoin Summit.
exactly.
And it's
Yeah,
all
it was
history from
exciting.
there.
Yep,
Um,
for sure.
well, I love talking about all of this stuff. I do have a short lightning round, but before we go to that, we've already talked about this wonderful card that you created, the beautiful full color um,
Mhm.
84 million podcast, first human represented in the, can I call it a universe? I mean, is this a universe of
Yeah,
characters?
sure.
In
Why
the
not?
LTCG universe of characters, there's 3 left. 16 others have
Mhm.
homes.
Mhm.
But you created a variant.
I did,
And
yes.
this is sort of the thing, like when me and Vlad worked together, and because we talked about this card, and we can talk about this. You can show one. But it's
Sure.
like, how do we do this? Do you release this? Do I release this? How does it work? How do
Yeah,
we
yeah,
pay for shipping and make sure you get paid and everything gets done and not have it be too complicated? Because that's kind of
yeah.
like, the BTC TKBR. There was Vlad's version, and then there was the one we made for 84 million. So rather than an arttoy.org card, this one's actually going to be available on 84 million, the only card that
Yeah.
will probably ever sell at 84 million. But it's a cool one. Can you show it to us and tell us about
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah,
card?
for sure. So this is the variant here, and so we made it so that it's a kind of like a sketch of the original version, and I don't know, this was kind of inspired similarly to this card here, which was the this was kind of sketched out too, and it was like the pie version of Lester, and same kind of style and stuff, except this is on a hollow background. But yeah, it's really unique, and we only made, I think it was what, 11 of them, yeah. And you and
Mhm.
I both have one, so there's technically only 9 of them available to the general public. Um, and I think one of them at least is already taken by a VIP. And then we probably actually have 2 others that might be taken by a VIP.
Hmm.
And I'm just saying this because
I'm discovering
usually
this.
I will save them cards just because they always get every single one of them.
Yeah.
So there'll be like a very, very limited amount of this card. So this will be probably one of the most rare cards that have been created, really. So
Wow.
that'll be uh kind of awesome.
It is awesome. I have one
Yeah.
too. And
Yep.
I had
You got
my
number one.
copy. So I've got both. Is it number one? Well,
Yeah.
you're right. It is one of 11. So
You
both
have
number
you
ones.
have 2 of yeah, those are the only cards that I don't have that are number one.
That's
Um
amazing.
yeah.
I love the
And
full
then
color. I mean, I have to say all of your
yeah.
full color cards are kind of like, they just look great.
Sure. Yeah.
But
Thank
I
you.
do love the sketch, and I like that it's just kind of a just like a minimalist. The holographics a little bit more pronounced,
Yeah. Yeah.
but super cool. I mean, the card's very similar, but it
Mhm.
is a variant, and it is one of 11.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm not overselling. There will be 11, period. Like, that's not
Yeah.
going to happen because we'll be communicating about what the demand is and whatever. So like once they're out, they're out. There's not going to be like some secret stash of 20. Like, no, we don't do that. Just
No.
like just
Yeah, we
like
don't
this
do
one.
that.
That was limited. The only one we gave away on that, because it was limited to 25, we had
Mhm.
bonuses from the printer. One was provided to the Litecoin Foundation last year to be auctioned, which did, and they took 100% of that. And then I had
Yep.
2 replacements. Because speaking of animal, he bought one.
Mhm.
He's like, dude, they totally destroyed it. The Canada Post, like, it was horrible. It looks like someone
Oh
drug it through a
no.
lake. I'm like, thankfully, I have like these 3 copies that are not going to see the light of day. I will replace yours and put some alternate variant number on it. And so he
Yeah.
has it. And I was glad I was able to make good, because normally I wouldn't have been able to do that. But we're not going to be like, the number's a number, like,
Yep.
just so you know. So
Yeah.
it's amazing, man.
There's
These cards are
I should
awesome.
say I should say too that there are certain certain special edition cards that I did create like APs for. which means that so just like you were saying with how the foundation had a special edition one, and then there was like another one, that you guys got. So those are usually called like artist proofs, right? And that's how it usually happens in any single art form, like even with like paintings and stuff like that. Sometimes this original painter or whatever will have an artist proof of their painting. Um, and so there are certain cards that I've created artist proofs for, but those are usually for me to just give away to, say, like friends and family or whoever it might be. Um, and it doesn't. So I will 100% say that there will never be more than 5 artist proofs, for a specific version of a card. Normally I'm creating like 3. So and again, those are just for like, close friends and family, like if my mom wanted one, or like if my best friend wanted one or something like that. So that way, it keeps availability to the public. And then those ones, if you really wanted to try and collect those, I mean, it would be a pain in the ass because you'd have to like start contacting my family, but like you could try, but I don't think those are ever going to come out onto the market, at least not anytime soon. So
84million.com for the variant card, arttoy.org for everything else. So it's official as of this publication. That link will be live. You can check the show notes. Let's do a lightning round before we land the plane on the episode.
sounds good.
So these are, ideally, these will just be short and sweet. But if you feel you need to go off, I'm not going to stop you. So lightning round, brief answers. I ask, you respond.
Okay.
Which card is your favorite?
Luster Files or Block Breaker. So Block Breaker. This one was also a version that I did something different with. Like there's a hole, there's a bunch of little holes in the card that kind of looks like Lester's, punching out of the card. That one I really like. And then like the Lester Files, obviously this was a play on, what has been happening recently with the Epstein files. And that was another one. This one was actually free with the Lester Vibes card, and it was really only like VIP basically got it. So super, super rare card. And and everything is pretty much redacted on that one. But yeah, those are probably my favorite. I would say I do love the Margaret cards, obviously, for what they represent. And then there was one other. I mean, the Proof of Death card is kind of fun just because, like, I don't know, it's like that variant that nobody has that I think is kind of cool. Anyway.
Which sold out the fastest?
Probably the Pepe Glow. I think that was the fastest sell. It went in. Oh wait, no. You know what? I think the Angry McRib actually sold out the fastest because it was like, I don't even think I released it really. It was released to VIP, and then VIP all got every single one of them. And that was a random one too, because David from the foundation messaged me on Discord, and he was looking for to create an Angry McRib against Lester. There'd be like 100 Angry McRibs to 1 Lester or something like that, who would win. And then I was just like, this is such a ridiculous idea. And since I can print them in house, like I just made one, and I was like, hey, let's do that. so
that's where that came from, kind of backdoor through David Schwartz.
Yeah. David literally like created the idea for it. And then I was just like, I'm gonna run with this because like the image looks so cool. I'll show you a picture of it, or a shot of it. Let me see, where is it? So this is
your collection runs deep.
Yep.
Wow.
This is the Angry McRib card.
So that's an HP of 1111. So that's a unique one. A lot of, and how do your conventions work with how you're issuing the hit points?
So ultimately, like
we see 84, 840. That was the highest number I may have seen.
A lot of them. So the Metal Shatner card actually has 1931 hit points. So it's kind of like the biggest. Now, I have to say that I can't say that that every single card will have the same exact features in the game, because balancing a game is very difficult, right? And so I've been playing I started playing Splinterlands in like 2018, and that's another blockchain based card game. Um, and it's like, you know, it's there are certain cards in there where like if you have a specific card for like a summoner or something like that, you can basically just beat everybody else. But like they've made it so that there's different strategies that you can have and stuff. So you know, I'm not going to say that every single card is going to have the exact same representation of hit points and attack, in the real game, because it will need to be balanced, right? And so they will change probably slightly, but I do want to try and keep it as close to the originals as possible. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of like where it's at. So a lot of this is done for collectible purposes and for Easter eggs too. So like the Metal Shatner one, for an example, I have one right here. So this one has 1931 hit points, and that's because he was born in 1931, right? And then the 94 attack damage was because he is 94 right now, when this came out. So that's like some of the lore behind that. And that's similar to a lot of these. I know the Pepe Loves You card, I think, has a few like lucky numbers on there too. So like I think it was no, maybe it wasn't Pepe. Which one was it? Maybe it might have been the Pepe Glow. And I think that one had either 88 or 168. No, it was 168. Yep. So it has 888 is the amount of hit points, and that's a lucky number in China. And then 168 is also a lucky number in China. So those are both kind of unique, I guess, Easter eggs in there. But a lot of them are very similar, in that respect. Like the Margaret card, for example, has 416, which was her birthday. Um, and then, it's just a kind of how I'm feeling, I guess, at the time, and also trying to keep in mind that, things are going to have to be semi-similar, so that there aren't too many cards that are out of line, I guess you could say. But there are some that are just aesthetic, I guess you could say. And they're if they are going to be a real card in the game, it would end up being like too powerful, or like, because I mean you're not going to be able to take
Shatler just
um
shows up and the game ends.
yeah, well, exactly, right? So you, you can't really do that. Like you wouldn't be able to play Pie Luster. And this is a variant actually. The real card does not have this sparkly pattern on it. This was I kept this one just because it was just like a one of one type thing. Kind of a misprint that actually got plated. But yeah, so like a card with 314 hit points, which the reason why is because it's Pi, and is not going to be able to go up against a card that has 1931 hit points unless this thing can like stun it, literally every turn, and then yeah, maybe you could win. But
What is the
and that's the other
designation
yeah,
on the bottom right of the card?
bottom right. Let me
So
see.
like it says 100,
Let me see.
and then like if you look at the podcast, it says 84.
Oh, that's just the hit points. So like that's like if you were to attack, how many points it would take off of their health. So
Versus the top number 840.
yep, exactly. So like yeah, if you took off, or if you, let's just say that it was 100 points, you're going to take off 100 points off of that, the health, every single attack
So it's
basically.
functional, friends. The game
Technically,
works.
yes, it is. Yeah, I
Without
have a lot of like background in that. It's just that we haven't totally balanced it yet, and I didn't want to let that stop me from making the cards, because like if I did, we wouldn't have any cards right now. I would be literally sitting there for days trying to figure out exactly what would work, and all that. And honestly, what I found over time is just that if you start and you just do it and
Mhm.
kind of fix it along the way, then it's a lot better than just stalling and procrastinating and trying to like get it perfect, So that's my honest, answer there.
Next question on the slowest lightning round that we've ever done.
I was just gonna say.
It's fine. I just had to comment. How many folks, without doxing, how many folks have bought every single card you've released?
I would say at least 4 to 5, 100%. And yeah, that's it.
A future release, what does it look like?
So the next card, I was working on one today that was a little bit more minimal and a little different than the rest, where the character wasn't kind of the main focus. It was more of like it was more environmental, right? And it had more of that like feel to it, where it was kind of like a ice card or whatever you want to say. And like it was very like white, blue, and purplish, kind of thing. Um there's also I'm playing with another example of have you ever heard of German Knot Guild? No. It's from like the 1920s, right? And I started getting involved into collecting that. And I want to make possibly either a card like that or just make like some Knot Geld that would be Litecoin specific.
How does the LTCG game, or Litecoin Trading Card Game, assist Litecoin as an asset? How does this project, physical cards, trading cards, promote adoption?
I think it gets Litecoin introduced into pop culture more. And I think that's something that we do need to do is get out of our little echo chamber and get involved into more things that other people are going to like, regardless of if it's Litecoin or not, And just introducing Litecoin. Yeah.
That was the last question. I'm sorry to have interrupted you. Great lightning round. Wonderful
Thanks,
speed.
yeah.
We couldn't have done it better. No, really good. I mean, the point is we want to explore these things, right? So we set something up and break it. No problem.
Yeah.
Well, we were going to talk about the summit. We already did. So I think we've exhausted the episode. What do you want to leave us with before we close?
So I am going to be creating a little bit of stuff for the summit. That was talked about the other day between me and Alan and David. So that is going to be interesting. So for the last summit, I actually created these banners here that are behind me. So we made, we had this like little astronaut guy that had MWEB and Litecoin on it. And I created the other, the mountain region and stuff like that for the last summit. So we're going to be doing something similar for Amsterdam. And so I'll be creating that. And then, we're going to be having a exclusive release for Amsterdam. And that should be fun. I'm looking forward to meeting everybody that is in Europe and, having a little break from America for a little while, which would be nice.
You got it.
But yeah.
Well, amazing, man. I'm glad to have you. I appreciate you coming back after 31 episodes, I think. So follow.
Congrats on that, by the way.
It just keeps going. Thank you.
Great.
Follow Bits at Bits Toys on X if you aren't already. For anyone else who isn't following our channel, the 84 Million Podcast, we do appreciate your subscriptions as well. Find us wherever you listen to your podcasts. 84million.com, spell it out, use letters.com/podcast. You'll find this episode and all of our episodes. We're knocking on 1,000 at YouTube. Get us there. We're going to do a giveaway. And appreciate you checking this out and all of our other episodes. Bits, if there's nothing else, we'll leave you go.
Just don't forget to go over to the 84 Million site and grab one of the special cards if they're still available.
Here, and Bits will be fulfilling them personally. So it's just like any other card, same quality, amazing, just a little bit more rare. So appreciate you guys. Thanks for checking in, Bits. Have a good night. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds great. Yeah.